Welcome back to Horror History. I'm your host, Vigilante, and today's episode marks a special milestone, our 10th journey into the dark and mysterious corners of human history. To celebrate, I wanted to explore one of the most infamous and enduring cases of all time. A story that has captivated the world for over a century. This is the tale of Jack the Ripper, London's eternal mystery. Step back with me to the streets of Victorian London, shrouded in fog and teeming with life and death. In 1888, a shadowy figure stalked the East End, preying on women in the poverty-stricken neighborhood of Whitechapel. His gruesome crimes earned him the chilling moniker Jack the Ripper, and his identity remains one of history's greatest enigmas. Who was Jack the Ripper? What drove his horrific acts? And why has this case stood the test of time as one of the most notorious unsolved mysteries? Let's unravel the mystery, one chilling detail at a time. This is Horror History, Season 1, Episode 10, Jack the Ripper, London's Eternal Mystery. To understand the Jack the Ripper case, we must first understand Victorian London. The 19th century was a time of industrial progress and scientific breakthroughs, but it was also a time of vast inequality. Nowhere was this divide more apparent than in Whitechapel. The East End was a melting pot of immigrants, laborers, and the unemployed. Streets were crowded, housing was often unsanitary, and crime was rampant. Life was especially hard for women, many of whom turned to prostitution to survive. It was a grim existence, and it set the stage for one of history's most chilling series of murders. Whitechapel wasn't just a geographical location, it was a symbol of neglect. The police force was stretching thin. The press sensationalized crime stories, and the public grew increasingly fearful. This fear and frustration created the perfect environment for hysteria, one that Jack the Ripper would exploit to terrifying effect. Jack the Ripper is believed to have killed 5 women, often referred to as the canonical 5. Mary Ann Nicholas was found on August 31st, 1888. She was the first known victim, her throat slashed so deeply it nearly severed her head. Then, Annie Chapman was discovered on September 8th, her body mutilated, and her organs removed. The precision suggests the killer had some anatomical knowledge. Next, Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. They were killed on the same night, September 30th, in what's known as the double event. Stride's murder seemed rushed, perhaps because the killer was interrupted. Eddowes, however, suffered horrific mutilations. Finally, Mary Jane Kelly, the youngest, and the last known victim, was found on November 9th. Her murder was the most brutal, her body barely recognizable. Each crime sent shockwaves through the community. The level of violence combined with the killer's ability to evade capture made the Ripper a figure of both terror and fascination. One of the most infamous aspects of the Jack the Ripper case is the letters. The Dear Boss letter was the first to be signed Jack the Ripper, a name that has endured ever since. It taunted the police and promised more killings. Next, the Saucy Jack postcard followed, referencing the double event. Then, there's the From Hell letter, which came with a gruesome package, a kidney believed to belong to one of the victims. These letters fueled media sensationalism, turning the Ripper into a larger-than-life figure. Some people believe the letters were hoaxes, possibly written by journalists to sell papers, but their impact on the public was undeniable. Over the years, countless suspects have been named. Here are a few of the most prominent. Montang Druitt, a barrister and teacher whose death coincided with the end of the murders. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant and barber believed by some to have had mental health issues and a hatred for women. Next, Prince Albert Victor, Queen Victoria's grandson, whose royal status has sparked numerous conspiracy theories. Modern theories have also emerged. In 2014, DNA evidence pointed to Kosminski, but the findings are controversial. The lack of concrete evidence ensures Jack the Ripper's identity remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Another fascinating layer of the Jack the Ripper mystery involves the hidden tunnels beneath Whitechapel. London's underground has long been a network of forgotten passageways originally built for various purposes, including transport, sewage systems, and smuggling. These tunnels have become a part of Ripper lore, with some theories suggesting that the killer used them to evade capture. The idea isn't entirely far-fetched. Victorian Whitechapel was riddled with back alleys and poor-lit streets that already made it easy for someone to vanish into the night. If the Ripper had knowledge of underground routes, it could explain how he managed to commit such brutal murders in relatively populated areas without being seen. However, there's little concrete evidence to support this theory. The tunnels have never been definitely linked to the crimes, but they remain a tantalizing possibility. They also play into the broader mystique of Jack the Ripper as an almost ghost-like figure, someone who appeared, committed horrific acts, and disappeared as if into thin air. This theory, while speculative, underscores the Ripper case enduring appeal. It's not just about the murders themselves, but about the world of possibilities that keep historians and true crime enthusiasts guessing. Why does Jack the Ripper continue to fascinate? Part of it is the mystery, the idea of an unknown killer escaping justice. But there's also the historical context. The case highlighted flaws in law enforcement, class divides, and society's obsession with crime. The Ripper's story has inspired countless books, films, and even tours of Whitechapel. It's a reminder of humanity's darkest tendencies and our endless quest for answers. As we close this special 10th episode, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey into history's darkest chapters. Jack the Ripper is more than just a mystery. It's a story that reflects the fears and fascinations of Victorian society, and, in many ways, our own. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and as always, stay safe. Peace.